Welcome to Epic Yarn Gems. Today our project is going to be making fingerless gloves. I had a video earlier this weekend that shows you how to do the herringbone stitch, and that is the stitch that we're going to be using in this project. The yarn that I used was Knitting Essentials. This was a gift from Loopy Ange, and I'm really excited to be using it in this project. It feels like a 4 worsted weight, and on the back of the package it does say to use a 5mm hook, but I wanted the stitch a little bit looser, so I did use a 5.5. So to start this, we are going to start with a slip knot, and we're going to put our hook into the center of that loop. And then what we're going to do is we are going to chain 7. This will be the start of the ribbing that we're going to be doing. After we complete our chain 7, we are going to go into the second loop from the end, and then what we are going to do is we're going to be doing single crochets all the way to the end. If you need a reminder on how to do a single crochet, you put your hook into the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through the 2 loops that are on your hook. And you're going to do that all the way to the end of this chain, and you will have a total of 6 stitches. And like I said, this is the cuff that goes around your wrist, so you will be making as many rows as you need so that it fits snugly around your wrist. And when we get to the end here, we are going to do a chain 1 and turn our work. And then to start the ribbing, how I like to start is to go under both V's with a single crochet. So there we are going under both V's, and we'll do a single crochet. This makes a nice straight edge for you to work with. And then we're going to go into the back loop only for the next 4 stitches. And we're going to be doing single crochets in those back loops. When we get to the end of the row, so the very last stitch that we have, I am going to do the same that I did at the beginning of the row by making just a straight single crochet going under the V. And like I said, this just makes a nice straight line when you are doing ribbing. This row you are going to repeat a total of 20 times. So with the single crochet on both of the ends and the back loop only in the 4 stitches in between. Once you get to the desired length, you are going to need to join your 2 ends. So we'll start that with a chain 1, and then we'll bring the 2 sides together, making sure they match up. On one side, we'll go underneath both of the V's, and then in the starting chain, we'll go into the chain there and just do a slip stitch. People do joining different ways. This one is what works best for me, and it is just simply a straight slip stitch. Once you have reached the end and you have joined both of these sides together, what we're going to do is we are going to turn our work inside out, and you can see here that it does make a nice ribbing. And then we will join the last stitch together with a chain 1, and then what we're going to do is around the top of the cuff we're going to do a row of single crochets. So as you do this, you're going to go into the openings at the top that were made by the different rows, so you should have a total of 21 stitches as you go around, because remember we had that first starting row which was just straight single crochets. As we finish up, we are going to do a slip stitch join to the beginning of the row, which was a single crochet, and here we are going to do a chain 2, and this is where we're going to start the herringbone. So we're going to go into the same stitch, we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, then we're going to pull that first loop through the second loop, yarn over, pull through the first loop only, yarn over, and go through both loops that are on your hook. I will also put a link to the video on how to do the herringbone stitch in case you want to practice that before you get going on this project. But once you get going, the herringbone stitch actually is quite simple, and it's just a whole bunch of pulling through the loops. So you're going to yarn over, go under the V, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then pull that loop through the second loop on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook, yarn over, and pull through the last two that are on your hook. As you complete this portion, you want to determine how long you want your glove to be and how far up your arm you want it to be. I did make a longer version and a shorter version. I actually preferred the shorter version, so that is what's going to be in the instructions. So you are going to continue to do these herringbone stitches, double crochets for the next 6 rounds. So that would be a total of 6 rounds, including the one that we're doing here. And each row is started with a chain 2, and then you are going to go into the same stitch as that chain 2, and you are going to do 21 herringbone stitches all the way around. If you did want to make the longer glove, I just added 2 additional rounds to make it just a little bit longer. And once we have finished that, we are going to go into the thumb portion. But I want to just make a note here that if your hand is bigger or smaller, you may want to just see exactly where your glove is hitting before you do your thumb round. And the last round should pretty much come to the base of your thumb when you are figuring it out. For me, like I said, it was the 6 rounds before the thumb. So as you're measuring this, what you're going to want to do is however many rounds that you want to make it the length that you want. But once you get the last row that is close to the base of your thumb, you need to make the thumb hole. So for the right hand and the left hand, the stitch is a little different. I'm going to show you the right hand here first. So once I finish my rows, I'm going to do 14 half double crochets. When I get done with that, I'm going to do a chain 4. And then I am going to skip the next 4 stitches. And then in that 5th stitch, I'm going to do the herringbone double crochet. And that will be 3 more of those, and then you will have finished your round. Now, if you are going to do the left hand, what you are going to do is you are going to do 3 herringbone double crochets first, that chain 4 for the thumb hole, skip 4 stitches, and then do the 14 herringbone stitches after that. Once you get to the end of the round, you are just going to complete it out with the same rows that we worked on previously. So what we'll do here is we will join to the top of that first stitch with a slip stitch join. Then we will be doing the chain 2, and then we're just going to continue around with that herringbone stitch. And for me, I did 3 more rounds to make the glove the length that I wanted, which just came right past my knuckles on my hand. So again, you're going to have a round here of 21 stitches, and you are going to do that 3 more times. But for this very first row, you're going to run into the section of your round that has that chain 4. Once you get to that section, you're going to just simply do the herringbone stitch in there the same as you would have done on a foundation chain. What I like to do when my chains are in the middle of my work, I like to go under the 2 top strands that make the V right there, and then I will do my stitch directly in there. And you are going to do that across those top 4 chains. And just when you get to the end, make sure that you do a stitch in that chain that connected back to the main part of the work past the ones that we skipped for. And then you are just going to continue, like I said, to do 2 more rounds exactly the same way as we have been doing. This actually is a project that I was thinking about doing last winter because my hands do get cold, but I do need to use my fingers. Obviously, I use them for crocheting, but also if my hands are cold and I want to work on my phone or on my iPad, it's nice to have my fingers free but the rest of my hand warm. And like I said, for the beginning of this pattern, if you've got longer fingers or you do want it a little longer or further down your hand, you just need to add more rows on here. So you can see we've got our thumb hole and we're going to finish this up. So to make a nice finish, what I decided to do was to do the reverse single crochet, also known as the crab stitch. I do have a video on this to help you along if you want to see that stitch separately. So we did our join, but we're going to do a single crochet. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go backwards into that stitch behind us, and we are going to do a single crochet. So let's look at that again. We are going to go into, kind of twist your hook a little bit into the V behind the stitch. We are going to then yarn over and pick up that strand, yarn over and go through the last two. When you are doing the crab stitch, you have to do a little twist right there to get the hook the right side up again, and then you're just going to continue to do that all the way around. I thought it gave a nice little finish on the end of this, and it turned out pretty cute, to be very honest. So we're going to do this stitch all the way around the top of our glove. And pretty much that is it. The last thing you need to do is you need to join the last row together and just cut off your yarn, and you are going to use a tapestry needle or whatever works best for you, and to weave in your ends, and then you're going to weave in that end at the bottom of the glove that was on the cuff, and then that will be it. Here is your fingerless glove. I think it turned out pretty cute. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave me some comments. And also, if you'd like to see my next videos, please subscribe to Epic Yarn Gems and turn on notifications. The left hand is that longer version and the right hand is that shorter version. It is hard for me to believe, but my YouTube channel has been live almost a year. So thank you all for subscribing, and I hope you have an awesome day. Take care.